So I have some more news regarding the Square Enix layoffs in Europe and America, but before I actually get into who's getting fired and what positions they hold, I want to talk about John Haneke, the Chief Publishing Officer and head of the Western branch of Square Enix, has officially resigned ahead of the wave of layoffs. Now I am curious about the word resigned here. He is someone who's high up in the company, and typically when you're high up within a corporate, infrastructure, you have this sort of quid pro quo type of things going on where like, hey, you're getting fired, but we're going ahead and let you resign so it doesn't reflect poorly on your resume, and you can go on to other jobs and essentially make them worse. But so we're going ahead and read his sort of resignation letter here. Yesterday, I announced to my team at Square Enix that I have decided to resign from my role as Chief Publishing Officer effective on November 21st. This has been a difficult decision as it means I must part with some very talented group of high-performing and passionate coworkers. If they were high-performing and they were passionate, then why are the games you guys are producing as garbage? Why do they feel like soulless husks of a franchise long past? It's because they're not high performing and they're not passionate. They want to shove as much of their own weird postmodernist beliefs in it as possible. And friends across the US and Europe, it has been my distinct honor to lead, to work alongside, and to learn from such an amazing team. You are the reason why these people are getting fired, John. You are their leader. And instead of putting your foot down and saying, hey, we can't put this fringe political belief into this game. We can't change this dialogue into this way. The market won't allow it. Instead of saying, it's okay for you to have these political beliefs. It's okay for you to have these societal beliefs. But we are making a product that is going to go to mass market, and we have to turn a profit in order to keep our jobs. And instead of doing that, you allowed them to essentially run wild, change dialogues, change corporate culture, and just make the gaming landscape worse. And because you left them do that, you are causing them to lose their jobs. I want to thank Square Enix leadership team for entrusting me in this role and giving me such a fantastic professional opportunity. It is crazy that somebody like this guy, who clearly has no care for Square Enix IPs and their franchises, gets a high position when there's so many passionate people out there who know the lore of these games, who know everything about these games, who I'm sure at least one of them has the credentials to be in this position. Yet it's always people who want to sabotage these franchises who end up getting these roles. It's always interesting to see that. And I want to thank my teammates and colleagues for their support throughout my 7 years at the company. Finally, I'd like to thank all the Square Enix players and fans for your passion and enthusiasm. Your energy keeps our teams fueled more than you know. And this is true. Shout out to all the Square Enix fans who said, no, we're not buying this garbage. No, this game is not good. No, this dialogue isn't funny or interesting. It's cringe. You guys were the real MVPs out there. And this is really what I wanted to point out on just what this guy's job was. Work closely with Japan as senior leader of Western publishing business. Interact directly with CEO and leadership team in Japan to illustrate needs and challenges in Western markets and to propose solutions. So this guy's whole job was to speak with the Japanese branch of Square Enix and to let them know, hey, these are the special challenges facing the Western market. So, as I said before, he caused these people to lose their jobs. All he had to do was tell the Japanese corporate, hey, the West right now, America and Europe, is facing a extreme political climate, especially in internet and gaming culture. We need to tone down a lot of this sort of derisive content. We need to make sure we're just focusing on pure, fun, unadulterated, just enjoyable content. This is the problems we're facing here, so we need to be careful on how we're going to maneuver around. That was his job, and he didn't do that. And now these people are losing their jobs. Now, he isn't the only person who's leaving the UK. It seems most of the UK offices are linked to Life is Strange, Outsiders, and Just Cause. I'm sorry, the layoffs at the UK offices are linked to Life is Strange, Outriders, and Just Cause. I've been on Twitter too long, y'all. Losing some brain cells. So, 16-year design director William Beecham and 7-year Life is Strange TikTok lead Lacey Hill has been laid off. Here we go again. Senior QA manager Linda was recently laid off, who worked at Square Enix for 10 years and was involved in Life is Strange and the Marvel games. Final Fantasy XIV. Project manager Mizuho Kanado is no longer working at Square Enix after 14 years with the company. She was the key communicator for marketing, community, PR, and Japanese interpretation for the Final Fantasy XIV projects, who answered to Western leadership, John Haneke. So you have these people who are losing their jobs directly because of this guy. I want everyone to notice this, that a lot of these people are losing their jobs because this guy right here refuses to put his foot down and be a leader. Akiyama, a Japanese English interpreter and translator for Square Enix Western Branch, has been laid off. She was responsible for translating and interpreting internal and external communications between two branches, along with interviews for media. So once again, someone who is tasked with translating between the Western and Japanese branch of Square Enix. Once again, losing their jobs. People from the PR teams are getting laid off. 2 PR directors have been laid off by Square Enix. Former Blizzard and Senior Director of Public Relations at Square Enix, Ryan Abergast, who was with Square Enix for 14 years, and PR Director Emily Shoji, who was with Square Enix for 15 years. Square Enix seems to be laying off people directly related to communication and feedback. And yeah, you have to, because these people weren't properly letting know the Japanese corporate that the West is facing a lot of problems at the moment when it comes to, sensitivity to, political ideology and opinions right now. It is very bad. I myself am so sensitive to a lot of these political maneuvers being put in games that I won't even try games. A good example for me personally, in my personal experience, was the Indiana Jones game. I hear it's good. I hear it's awesome. However, when I saw the trailer for the games and I saw a dude with gauges and a Pride t-shirt, women with colored hair and septum piercings, I was like, yeah, this game is not going to be good. And I didn't buy it. I love Indiana Jones, by the way. I grew up watching it with my grandfather. He showed it to me and I've just always been a fan of it. I didn't pick up the game though because I thought it was going to be garbage, because that's just what I saw, and I have no interest in playing it. Someone else here. Senior QA manager. Oh, we already read that one. Is there more? There's not. But yeah, these people who are tasked with communicating with Japan are getting fired, and I think this is a good thing, to be honest with you. Another good example is, I enjoy anime and manga. And recently, if you've been enjoying anime and manga, you will know that a lot of localizers are completely changing the storylines, pronouns, and just dialogue between characters to fit their narratives. The most popular one to point out is the Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, where in one, it's a kind of commentary on how one of the dragon characters has a voluptuous body. And the localizers changed it to being about the patriarchy. And, a lot of Japan didn't know this was going on. Now, recently, a lot of Western manga and anime fans have let it be known to Japanese heads that, hey, this is what's happening. And we've seen things that has been changing in Japan where, their Minister of Entertainment was saying, hey, we can't be compromising our art that we're shipping to Western studios. We have to stand our ground and say, hey, this is ours. We're not changing it to suit your needs. Read it if you want to read it. Watch it if you want to watch it. And if you don't. So it has been good to see that. But yeah, these people are losing their jobs. Part of me feels bad because once again, at the end of the day, the buck should stop at this John Heineke guy, but he's just refused to be a leader, and these people are going to lose their jobs. But that's what's happening in the industry right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye now.